Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about 5 things you didn't know or most people don't know about JavaScript objects. The first one is the fact that we can use spaces in key names. So I'm going to go to the node console so that we can test all of this. What do I mean by object keys can have spaces in them? So if I declare my object to have a key, let's just call it a key, which has a text called test. If I type object, we can see we have our object. Now if I add another key called another key, and I'm going to put test2. All right, I'm going to put test2 inside. Now if I look at our object, we can see that it has a key called another key with space inside. This is not good practice, but just know it's possible. And one more thing about that, to access the object, the first key first of all is object.key, but we can't access the second key like that, another key. It generates an error. The only way to access it is to use the square brackets, another key. So it's possible, but it's not good practice. I'm going to define another second point is the fact that objects can have the $sign as key. So let me define my second object. This is a key starting with $key, having the value my text. It works without error. So to access that key, I can say key with a $. There's absolutely no problem. It works the same too for even underscores. Like this is my third object. I can have underscore key having my text. At least this one you may know already. So this works very well. Now the third issue that most people don't know is the fact that we can have calculated key. Well, it's sort of like common sense. Let's say we have a variable called name that has a text John. Now I can create my empty object. Let empty object be this. So inside empty of John of name, sorry, I can insert let's say fine guy, something like that. Sorry, I would have said empty object. All right, okay. So our object is now more empty. If I view the inside, I get something like this. Now this name comes from a variable. So once we put this in the square brackets here, it means the value was computed, that it had to search for what's inside the variable. So that's a computed key property. Okay, the fourth thing that many people don't know is the fact that object keys have no limitations in terms of how the key name can be called. For example, we know that we cannot give a variable the name of 4. This normally is an error because 4 is a reserved JavaScript keyword. But in the case of an object, let's just say let me define another object. My object, we can have a for key having let's say my text 1, and we can even have a let key. This is crazy. Let key having text 2. Doesn't generate an error, so we can access the object like this. You see there's no error, so that's possible, but it's not good practice. Now the last thing most people don't know is the fact that objects can have in fact, objects having numbers as key are converted to string. For example, I'm going to create in fact, let's come back to our empty object. It's still in the memory. This is it. Empty object has John, fine guy. So if I insert another key called 5 that has the text 5 inside our object, what does empty object looks like right now? It looks like this. You can notice the 5 is converted to a string. Now when this is a number key as we have right now, we cannot access it using the dot notation. For example, if I say object empty object the John, we get fine guy, but I can't say empty object dot 5. Now the only way to access this is by using the square braces. So we can see that there are scenarios where the square braces are very much important than the dot notation, and vice versa. The square braces is good to access maybe number keys, something like that. Even if we write empty objects without the string, it works because in the background it's converted to a string. The square object is also used for computed variables, like we saw somewhere above here. So these are normally things that we don't use in real life because they are not good practices, but just wanted to let out that this is possible. Now see you another video for other tips on JavaScript.